Hello and welcome to Consist. The Republican Party continues to shed the support base it has at the center of the country's political spectrum. This does not mean they will never be able to reverse course, but it will take even more effort to get things back on track than it had earlier. No political party wants to shed registration, but it always happens. Democrats become Republicans, Republicans become Democrats, some become independents, and independents join some party. The changes always happen. It has to. But the pace of the change in January shows a lopsided impact on the Republican Party. In the first 3 weeks after the January 6th riot, 650 Democrats changed party affiliation every week in North Carolina. But 3,007 Republicans switched in the first week after the riot, 2,850 switched in the second week, and 2,120 switched in the last week. That's 1,950 Democrats switching against nearly 8,000 Republicans. It's just one state, but for every Democrat that made the switch, 4 Republicans switched. And what will be the overall impact across the country? We never really have to worry about the hardcore base of their party. It is the independents and the centrists that the parties need to be worrying about. How many of the 140,000 Republicans who have quit the party in January in 25 states will be from the hardcore Republican base? There will be a few, but it has to be small. It is those voters who look at both sides of the aisle, weigh up candidates against one another before taking the decision to vote. Those are the kind of voters, ones that are open to voting either side, are more prone to switching. And the switch is also a tacit admission that they are so unhappy with the direction of the party that they feel guilty or ashamed to continue holding the party registration. It's never, oh my god, I love the other party so much that I have to switch. It's always, I hate my current party, so I am switching. Just like they say in the corporate world, you always leave because of the manager you have. Voters always leave because they don't like what they see in the party that they are associated with. This is not to say that one by one everyone will leave the GOP. That is not going to happen. This is just a microcosm of what is going on. It's a small slice of the Republican support base either leaving the party to become independents or switching their registration to the Democratic side. It's an open statement from the public, at least from a small portion of them, that they did not like what they saw on January 6th. It's also a message for the Republicans. The voters are asking them to change their approach, and if they refuse to heed to those calls, what is now a worst month for them on the party registration front may very well become 2 worse months, 3 worse months, or maybe even more. Whether they stem the flow or encourage the desertion to become a trend line will be up to the standard bearers of the GOP. But when you look at the fight between Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley, the medium-term trend line for the party does not look very promising. Their fate, their party's fate, is now absolutely in their hands, now more than ever. You can change things from the inside if you start looking at things beyond 2 years. Unless that time horizon changes, nothing is going to change for the party. Thanks for watching. If you like it, please do subscribe.
Welcome back. Data download time. In the week since the January insurrection at the Capitol, there have been a raft of stories about voters across the country leaving the Republican Party. And that's led to questions about whether the party itself is shrinking nationally. Look, we don't know that for sure, but we do have a sense in a few battleground states. Let's just take a look. Just in January, close to 8,000 Republicans in North Carolina left the party. In Arizona, 9,000 left the party. And check this out. More than 12,000 Republicans in Pennsylvania, all in only a month, have left the party. But it's more than just January 6th. This trend has been a long time in the making, and it is part of a bigger political realignment that we've been talking about right here on Data Download for quite some time. We took some data from our NBC News poll from 2010 and 2020 to look at the profiles of the two major parties over that decade time period. And we found some big shifts in education and gender. And it's not going to surprise you, but let's start with education. Since 2010, you'll see this not being a surprise. The percentage of self-identified Democrats without a college degree has declined by 7 points, while the percentage of those with a college degree has grown by 6 points. On the other side of the aisle, it's essentially a story in reverse. The percentage without education beyond high school has climbed by 7 points, despite the fact that there are fewer of those actual voters in total now than there were in 2010. And the percentage with at least a college degree among Republicans has declined by 5 points. And we see changes in the gender gap as well. Democrats have long been a party where women outnumber men, but the difference has grown. Check this out. In the last decade, self-identified Democrats have gone from 58% female, 42% male in 2010, double-digit difference, to look at this, 61% of the party is now female, and only 39% is male in 2020. And self-identified Republicans, which were once evenly split between the two genders in 2010, they've become decidedly more male. In fact, in 2020, the self-identified Republicans were 46% female versus 54% male. And remember, there are more women than men overall. So together, all these shifts mean Republicans are facing a challenge. The more the party becomes the party of Trump, the more it draws from a shrinking population of people without a college degree and men instead of women. In other words, it's grabbing a larger share of a smaller pie.